very much for being here today. The oil stream, of course, presented to you by Boston Pizza. Stop in for lunch today. $15. You get a main, you get a side, you get a drink. And if you don't get it in less than 20 minutes, you get it for free next time you come in at Boston Pizza. Tommy Gazzola will be live at Boston Pizza on Friday for pre and post, part of our Heavy Hockey Showdown watch party the day before the Heavy Hockey game. So that's going to be a great crowd at Westgate Boston Pizza on Friday night.
Lovely. I think Matt Cassian might be there.
He's going to pop in. I'm going to pop in. I mean, obviously, we got the Heavy Hockey thing. I'm going to be by for a little bit for sure.
But he also yesterday asked when the next one on location is. So waffling, I would say.
27th.
Yeah.
You got that email yesterday?
I did get that email.
We're also going to be there on the 26th for lunch.
At BP Westgate?
At BP Westgate.
Oh, perfect.
It's like Westgate's like turn in the rotation. So we'll be there on the 26th for lunch. Then you'll be there for pre and post on the 27th.
It honestly is and has become a destination, really good time for pre and post. Tony and Curtis do a great job. The staff there is awesome. They've got the Coors Light Golf Simulator. And when you go there, you have a good chance of walking away with some prizes.
That big prize party
Tony's
after prize
a prize
party,
guy, and he has like really good ones. Obviously, they have great connections and partnerships. I think Molson gives them some fantastic prizes. Bud Light, Coors Light, they have all kinds of stuff. Lots of Super Bowl stuff was left over for the last one, and Tony hooks it up.
That's nice.
Yeah,
I like that he hooks it up.
It's really nice. What was that?
Did you just text me? Oh, yeah, Lock Shop clip. Do our parlay at the end of the show. Golf parlay. There you go. Hernan likes to clip the Lock Shop and put it up.
But
after.
the way he
just has
did
a really
that,
weird way to.
He mimed something like this and like this.
When you go like this to somebody who's on the air, when you go like this, I think, oh, I texted you. Look at your phone. So he went like this. Yeah. So I said, I looked at my phone. It wasn't there. And then we just talked to each other anyway.
Well, you missed Ice Coop come in here and ask some ridiculous questions.
Was I here for that?
No, you. Oh, thankfully you weren't.
Oh, like today out there?
Literally, like right when you went.
Oh, when I went to take a leak. Yeah.
He's like, I'm talking to Hernan, and then all I hear is Ice Coop come in, and he's talking. I'm like, are you talking to me?
Who are you talking to? Yeah.
Yeah, and just mid conversation had to do with my earphones.
He was asking you about your earphones?
Oh, yeah. Great time to do it.
Because he wants to get some just like you?
He can get some just like me.
Really?
They're $150 at
those are $150 headphones?
Yeah. They're good, though.
You know, like IFB specials, right? Like,
yeah. They're awesome.
Yeah.
And he's like talking to me, and I'm like, are you... Like, I can't hear anything. You got to talk it to the mic. Because they're noise
Because you had the headphones in already.
Yeah, and they're noise they're really good.
Are they really
good
noise canceling,
like, They're those ones like musicians use, too.
What?
Because it really takes out the outside
Man,
noise.
you don't mess around, hey? I'm just wearing like $10 earbuds.
Yeah, those work good too.
Yeah, I mean, there's not too bad. But I have them so loud that I can't hear anything anyway, so.
Yeah, these ones are great for what we do, obviously, and then you do other stuff in and around town on air. These ones are perfect. They keep the program in the ear.
They keep it right there so you think it's just you.
Mm-hmm.
Big Uke over in the Nancy chat says, is there any separate fundraising for Heavy Hockey Showdown on Friday? I think they might be doing something. I thought they were talking about a 50-50, but I'm not sure how that works.
Yeah.
And then we do still have to auction off the chance to coach against us. We have our coach. Pizza Boy's going to coach us.
Oh, Pizza Boy won it.
Pizza Boy
Nice.
is going to coach us, but we are going to auction off a spot on the Hangout, some merch, and a chance to coach against us. So, Big Uke, I mean, if you want to get in and coach, I mean, we're going to be auctioning that off probably on Friday so we can take it from Nielsen Show into Hangout because the Heavy Hockey crew will be in on the Hangout.
Including Surveyor Brett,
No,
by the
he's
way.
Director of Officiating.
No, he's in on the Hangout, though.
I know, but he said he wants to be referred to as Director of Officiating for Heavy Hockey Showdown, not...
so we can't call him Surveyor?
No, he doesn't want to be Surveyor Brett that day.
I can't keep up with this stuff.
Yeah, I mean, there's too much to keep up with. I can't blame you. If you're listening on TuneIn or iHeart or at EdmontonSportsTalk.com, you can fire us a text, 780-218-9999. And if you're watching over on YouTube today, hammer the thumbs up for us there as well. Duck Dad over in the chat says, guys, lay off Hernan. He needs support after what Trev did to him. Not this. You heard the whole, you're on our soccer team. Nope, now you're on the waitlist thing.
I caught some of it on the morning show.
Yeah. Wait, is Hernan still kicking around out there?
Yeah, he's somewhere there.
How's he feeling?
Well, I see Trev is shaking his head.
So how are you? How you feeling? Hey, he looks so sad. He looks so sad.
You okay?
How you feeling after Trev did you dirty like that? Come over here. Talk to us for a second about this.
Trev
Turn on that mic there, Hernan.
Get in here. Okay, get out of here, Zach.
No, Zach. God, I love Zach. Zach's running alongside Hernan going, it happened to me too.
Get
it happened
him
to me too.
Someone get him his meds.
Yeah. Zach, stay focused,
Zach's
man.
got the zoomies right now.
Don't you have a show to do at 1 o'clock? Get the thumbnail ready.
Oh, my goodness.
Okay, Nansel, I told the story today. Trev said I was completely off base. You give us your side of this getting slighted onto the wait list of Trev's rec league soccer squad.
Well, we were talking, and I just said, hey, I wouldn't mind playing if you guys need players. He's like, yeah, you're in. I'll talk.
You're in.
He said you're in?
Yeah.
You can't
and then
do
he's
that.
like, oh,
Trev, you said he's in.
That's exciting. And then he comes tomorrow, and he's kind of slow playing it, rubbing my arm and my shoulder, and he's like, we're waiting on 3 guys, and you're on the wait list. And
man.
I'm looking at Trev's response, and he's shaking his head.
Well, he's in the chat right now saying this is ridiculous.
He says it's bullcrap.
I haven't been that down
to him.
since
last week when I spanked you at Tecmo twice.
I'm on your side here.
I think since Tommy Salo left.
Wow.
You got to dial it back to Tommy Salo leaving.
That's 20 years ago.
That's when the Oilers broke me.
That's when they broke you?
Yeah. Well, no.
I thought they were going to break you this spring at some point.
No, I'm damaged goods, man.
So are you okay to be a waitlist guy? Are you going to say, nope, I'm either on the team or I'm not?
Well, I probably didn't help my cause when I said I'm kind of like the Josh Brown of the team. If
Yeah. Okay, yeah.
But listen, I'm in my 40s. I'm a little bit older. They're all young guys. And then he said he plays with McEwen guys.
Yeah.
That's top notch.
Yeah. I think you could hold your own, though.
Nonetheless,
you're in great shape right now.
Yeah, I'd help the team. But now I feel now that if you're allowed on the team because he feels bad, now I feel like there's more pressure on me.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Definitely.
Yeah, but it was tough. Mm-hmm. I had to have a dart after. And
I love you always looking for excuses to have a dart, no matter what.
And so Zach and I are both on the wait list.
Well,
and if Zach gets ahead of me, I'm gonna lose.
Well, you know what? We'll bring in Zach. Let's bring in Zach now. That's Hernan's story. Where's Zach? Zach, you come in here as well.
Like a puppy.
I gotta find out how Zach likes being number 2 on the wait list. He's a wait list. He's a wait list of the wait list. So what's your story here, Zach?
Well, yeah, somebody finally wants to talk to me now. So Trev did this before he had their other season or whatever that spans over 4 months, and I couldn't do it because I was busy at the time.
So he'd asked you before the last one.
He asked me for the last one.
I did not know that, Trev.
So he said, I had a spot if I wanted to join, and said, unfortunately, the Reed Wilkins show is there. It's much more important than playing soccer with you, Trev, so I can't do it. And he comes around to me the other day and he says, you want to join the soccer this time around? And I'm like, yeah, that would be maybe I might have to check and see, Sundays in the afternoon or whatever it's going to be. Yeah, maybe. Let's put it on the back burner. I'll get back to you next week. So he says, well, Hernan's going to be on the team. Okay, cool. And, I finally come up with my decision, and it's the same day that I found out that Hernan's on the wait list. So now I'm second, I think, because Hernan got back to him first.
Join the team with Hernan's on the team already.
Yeah, he did say that. You just said that Trev said Hernan's on the team.
Well, Hernan is going to be on the team.
I'm watching Trev's reaction. He was shaking his head, saying this bull
Trev
crap.
in the chat says, you're off the team, Zach.
Well, it's not your decision. I got the guy's contact
in the end,
team.
you weren't really on the team in the first place.
Yeah.
I don't know if they win a title now. Do you get a ring for being a waitlist guy?
I'll tell you what he's going to do.
They won the champ last time, and I still haven't got the championship shirt from that team.
You're going to go and you're going to find that shirt thrifting.
He's holding them, man.
I asked him, are you hoarding championship? He's like,
he got both of them.
All right, Zach, go away.
Yeah, go away.
All right, there you go. That's Zactica, baby. Number 2 on the wait list. You know what? It's only fair.
You know what, Zach? Go do a few laps around the building to burn some energy.
Come defend yourself. Come defend yourself, Trev. You're being thrown under the bus by 2 of your coworkers and good friends. This is what he has to deal with.
He says he's staying in the nasty chat.
He's in the chat. Okay, yeah. He's in the chat.
Yeah.
All right, Tommy, what's your ruling on this? Who's in the wrong here? Was Hernan expecting too much, or was Trev? Did Trev botch this?
No, my interpretation of this, and I've seen things like this play out, scenarios that are similar.
I love that you've seen things like this.
Yeah, it's unfortunate when it comes to rec league sports or whatever. I feel like there was an opening and there was probably a memo put out to Trev's team to, hey, we need guys. And Trev was like, I have a couple of really good guys in mind that would fit in with the squad, could play a little bit of soccer. And so he went to Hernan and offered him a spot on the team. And then when he went back to the team, I have a guy. And then they're like, well, we actually have a couple more guys, younger, like Hernan said, probably.
Poor Hernan this ageism is ridiculous.
It is insane. But, and I can tell there is some remorse on Trevor, but the Zacticum stuff, he was shaking his head a lot at. And I think he said bull crap about 4 times. And then he got into the nasty chat as well.
What a start to the oil stream today,
right.
hey? Oh,
Drama.
man. As Chris Purpur in the text line says, the Young and the Restless, EST edition.
Yeah.
Yeah, really.
Yeah,
that could
that's
be
fair.
an EST short. The wait list.
The wait list.
Yeah. That's actually not a bad idea. We should put it in the phone.
Yeah, there
Hey,
you go.
Trev,
He's got
EST short, the wait list.
You're welcome, buddy. I got your back.
Yeah. Oh, this is a good one. Mike, the Michigan fan, suggests Hernan needs to join a rival team.
With Zach?
Yeah. Zach and
But-
Hernan start their own team.
I like Hernan's chances of actually playing games for Trevor's team.
You do?
Yeah. Not
In a
Zach's.
sub?
In a sub role.
in a sub
And
role.
you know what? That might actually work
That's how
out
you get your foot in the
perfectly.
door.
Yeah, and that might be better because you kind of get to know the new team, maybe make a few nice plays.
Maybe you want to be on it. Maybe you don't want to be on it
Yeah,
after you
maybe.
get a taste of it, right?
Exactly. So it's kind of a great test trial run type of thing.
Mike, the Michigan fan. He already laid that one out there. Oh, this one I wanted to get to. Hey, guys, I missed where Tommy got his earbuds and what brand. You got them at Long and McQuaid, right?
Yeah, they're
Great audio store.
They're
We pretty much got all of our EST
Sure.
stuff at Long and McQuaid.
the same as these mics, the Shure ones, and
Those are Shure earbuds.
yeah, they're awesome.
Yeah,
They're
that's a
seriously-
great brand.
They're fantastic. And like you could use them as headphones or whatever, but they're noise canceling, so it muffles the sound outside of your ears and it gives you program really, really crisp. It's like when you do sidelines, you wear these.
Yeah, very similar.
Yeah,
They
they're
always say,
awesome.
"Did you bring your own?" I'm like, "No,
I
I didn't have my own." So I was just like, "That's why I."
I didn't either.
Yeah.
And I'm like, do you mean like headphones? And they're like, no, we'll give you IFBs.
Yeah.
And I think it was Mike. You've worked with Mike before, right? The
Probably.
sound guy. Yeah.
I'm horrible with names.
Yeah. He's usually Gene's guy. Anyway, he's like, well, I rigged this up for you. And it was 2 IFBs with the really uncomfortable, like ruffled ends. to
Oh
the-
yeah. I know those.
And I
ones.
had those and it was like cranked full time, like
Yeah.
maxed out. And then Raj comes up to me. He's like,
I know Raj.
yeah.
Raj brings me throat lozenges.
Raj has like a kilogram bag of throat lozenges.
Yeah, they're great, and they're like imported from a different country.
Well,
And they're
Raj,
really good.
He knows where to get the good stuff. I work with him on Wild TV too. Raj is the sound guy for Bozone Live. Anyway, he's like, go get these ones. You know, they're going to be amazing. So the next game I had these and game changer.
Perfect.
Yeah.
There you
Sure.
go.
From Long and McQuaid.
There
That's
you go.
where I got them.
780-218-9999, 780-218-9999. Max Bazuzu says, I like to think that's how Knobloch treats Skinner. Jeff, you're on the wait list today.
Perfect timing for that
I
one.
mean, it's kind of funny.
Yeah.
But man, it would hurt if Skinner was listening right now. Yeah, that would suck for him. All right. Speaking of Skinner, on the second line, or somebody joked today, he's just holding a spot for Janmark who didn't skate.
well,
Can you imagine that?
Yeah, I could. That's why that joke is funny and sick and twisted at the same time.
It is sick and twisted.
Right? Like, seriously, they're not getting any production from the bottom 6, really. He has been a guy that, although his game isn't immaculate, it's not a 200-foot game, he has produced more. You laid it out with that one post earlier, or was it even last
Yeah,
week?
he had
with
5 goals in January 1st, and the other 4 guys who get to stay in the lineup also had 5 goals combined.
Yeah, that sums it up. And I'm sorry, like, you need scoring. You could have used a goal. I know Skinner played the other night, and he did have a really nice opportunity. I think it careened off the bar, but just play him, man. Let the guy go. Give him some rope. If the game's tight and you're up a goal, don't put him out there then. Right? Like,
Yeah.
if you're trailing and you need a goal, put him out there. Play him to his strengths. If he ends up with 9 minutes, fine, whatever. But if he gets you an assist or is part of a goal, great, as long as he's not -1 or 2 at the end of the night. He's there to provide offense. He has provided offense.
I mean, I don't know how you would have expected him to do anything but provide offense for you. Like when you signed Jeff Skinner in the offseason, you couldn't have said, he'll be able to help us in a lot of areas.
No.
Like you would have said, he can score goals if he's playing with playmakers. And then they've gone on to not play him with playmakers enough.
Or play him at all.
Yeah, I mean, it's the usage of Jeff Skinner is worse than the initial signing of Jeff Skinner.
Yep.
In my opinion.
Yep.
Here's what they were practicing with today. McDavid, Hyman, Nuge, Draisaitl, Arvidsson, Skinner, which is the line that opened the season,
And it did not last long.
How long did it last?
A game or two?
A game and a half or something like that? Because then they went nuclear after that.
Yes,
I think
did.
I think it was the third period of game 1. And they I remember tweeting out, I'm like, here we go.
All it took was 2 periods.
Nuclear option is not as effective as it used to be.
Yeah.
Now it's like a hand grenade option.
They get zone time and don't always score.
Henrique between Podkolzin and Brown. Kapanen between Perry and Jones. No Matthias Janmark. On the back end, no Ekholm or Klingberg again. Wallman with Bouchard, Nurse, Stetcher, Kulak, and Emberson. So just starting with that forward group, Tommy, your thoughts on, what can they get from, let's just go bottom 6 for now. I mean, Draisaitl is going to give you what he gives you, and you hope Arvidsson and Skinner can contribute there. But what are you expecting from Henrique, Brown, Podkolzin, Kapanen, Perry, Jones?
The expectations
about right.
are pretty low right now. Yeah, it shouldn't be. I think there's a better player still left in Adam Henrique, but he hasn't really shown it all year. Brown, good that he scored a couple games ago, but it really hasn't been providing much either. Some PK stuff, but the PK hasn't been great either.
No, it hasn't.
Podkolzin, you don't want it. It's kind of like Skinner. Like, okay, we know he's not going to provide much offense. Yeah, sure, he works hard, skates okay, and digs, but he can't be making plays that go back the other way and cost you. And don't get me wrong, and I know I'm highlighting the third Buffalo goal here again, and we waxed poetic about it for so long, and there was a calamity of errors on that goal, but it started with him. You can't have those plays. You're a third, fourth line guy. Guess what? You're a meat and potatoes guy. You need to make the right play 99.9% of the time. Otherwise, you're going to be punted out of the lineup or pushed further down the lineup, which has happened. Just play north-south. Hit guys. Get in on the forecheck. Don't get fancy with the puck, because when you do, you get in trouble. Like if I was Podkolzin and I had the puck anywhere within 25 feet of the net, I would literally just throw it on net.
Yeah.
Forget the cycle, especially if you're playing with Henrique and Brown.
Even if you're just throwing it on net, it has a better chance than doing nothing with it.
Yep.
Good
course hit.
Like bad angle, whatever. I mean, go.
Yeah, I know. Do something with it. I think that if we stretch it into the fourth line, whether it's Kapanen or whether Janmark gets back, I don't know if Janmark's nicked up or whatever, but because by DNB's tweet,
you just said no
Janmark,
so
I'm assuming he's not skating.
I would think, yeah.
So maybe Janmark is in for Kapanen and plays center again. Whatever. Like, simplify your game. I don't mind trying to create chaos, and especially when you're the third and fourth line and you're not really handling the puck a lot. You're not really out on the ice a lot. You're not cycling the same way the top two lines can. Just try to create havoc and do it in a simple way, and maybe they get too cute. This team has a penchant for being too cute. We've said it all season long.
Yeah, they're too
straight lines, man.
Too cute means easy to play against. Well, that's the exact same thing. Like,
very true, too.
Teams that are hard to play against will never be described as cute. Ever.
Yep.
Did you watch the Florida-Boston game at all last night?
It got feisty, didn't it?
Man, that third period was just on another level. Like, the atmosphere in Boston was terrific. And then the last 2 or 3 minutes, Bennett and Zadora. Like, it's just, man, Sam Bennett, wouldn't you love him on any team?
Yep.
Like,
but
God.
I would love the attitude of the Florida Panthers on this Oilers team.
Yeah.
Like, F with us and find out. They're skilled. Yes, they're big boys too, but they have this sneer to their game that the Oilers just don't have right now. And I don't know. I mean, you're going to add sandpaper and Frederick whenever he's ready to go, but they play like a brash a-hole style of hockey in Florida, and they'll play fast, they'll play skill, but you want to throw down with
And
them,
that was without Kachuk
yeah.
and Marchand in their lineup.
Yeah.
Last night. Like, and they're still a bunch of jerks for lack
Because
of
they
a better
have that attitude. Like it's like, oh yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Even Bennett fighting Zadorov. Zadorov's a giant. Like,
Yeah, I mean, he didn't back away from it. I don't know if he wanted it.
No.
Zadorov kind of didn't give him an option, but Bennett was bringing, like, he was asking for it.
it's the like, oh yeah, okay.
And you know what I liked? After Zadorov gave him a couple and they were tied up, Bennett was still losing it. Like,
Good.
he's trying to get around the official track. Like, he was, what a little spark plug.
There's an attitude there, and it's the good type. And I know only some teams can get that level where they feel that way. And it comes with swagger, too. I mean, they're defending Stanley Cup champions. But just to have some of that, Dusty, oh, yeah, you're going to F with me? Well, look out, because I might not beat you up, but I'm going to give you a rough ride. It's not going to be easy. They kind of have that. The Oilers do not. Oh, shoot, you scored on us. Oh, man, I shouldn't have tried to regroup and reverse that when two guys were chasing me. Oh, boy, I gave it away at the blue line. That sucks. Maybe Connor will score. Maybe Leon. I don't know. I don't have to really do anything. It feels that way with the Oilers. It's just kind of that mindset. Not like, F this, I screwed up, I'm going to go do something about it, even though I'm on the fourth line. They don't have that.
RCS, a couple of Sam Bennett comments. We'll do that. Then we'll get to more of your text messages. So keep them coming in. Rams fan, we're going to get to yours. It's the spicy headlines for Popeyes, where they have the $4 snack menu, value item menu, includes the little chicken sandwiches on there, the little chicken wrap is on there,
Yummy.
the nugs are on there, the blackened cauliflower, I believe, are on there, and the pickles are on there. So you can get all that right now for lunch at Popeyes. Okay, just a couple on Bennett. Of course, Big U says, you mean future Edmonton Oilers Sam Bennett. And RCN says, Sam Bennett over or under $7.45 million per year on his next one.
Oh, we were talking about that.
We talked about that last show, and we were like somewhere between 6 and 8.
Yeah.
And I could be convinced that I'm beyond the 6 part, I think, now.
Because he's at 4.5 right now, right?
Yeah. I think there's a 7 in front of his next deal. Somebody with a cap going up will give that guy at least 7.
It's his big one.
Yeah, this is the one for him.
Yeah.
Like,
I'll be optimistic. And the way he played, obviously, in his time with Florida, Stanley Cup champion, 4 Nations face-off, amazing start to a game, maybe the best start to a game ever against the USA. He's put together some good offensive seasons. He's like a 40, 50-point guy. That could be $8 million range.
yeah, I got to take the over 7.45 because that means 7.5 is in play.
Yeah.
Here's what I think might be most impressive about Sam Bennett, and there's a lot of things that are impressive about him, but his point production has gone up in the playoffs.
Yeah.
Like last year, cup run, 14 points in 19 games. The year before, when they went to the cup and didn't win, 15 points in 20 games. Like, he produces more when it matters because of his style of play, which I just absolutely love. And I think it's hard to put a value on that. I really do. Like, he's going to get a good deal.
Remember the end of his run in Calgary? He was getting really frustrated because he felt like he wasn't being utilized properly. Thought he had more offense to give, and they had him on the third, fourth line.
Yeah.
And then Florida scoops him up and gives him this opportunity, and he basically proved himself right. Middle six guy, tenacious, plays like a dink that you get annoyed by, and you try to smack him around and he smacks back. Like, he's a straight up hockey player.
I'm going to throw that out there on Twitter. How much you'd be willing to pay Sam Bennett on the Oilers? Benny over in the chat says, he's a better fit for the Oil than Rantanen. And I honestly believe that. He's more of what they need than Rantanen.
Yeah.
Like, I get it, Rantanen, a much better offensive player.
Are we still talking about Rantanen?
No, I think we're done with Rantanen now.
Thank God.
I think it was just brought up that Sam Bennett, especially if he's going to come in $5.5 million less, and he's probably more of what they're missing anyway.
Yes, good point.
Like,
that is a good point.
That would be the question there. All right, 780-218-9999. Rams fan on the lines here is during your Popeye spicy headlines on the Oil Stream, brought to you by Boston Pizza. Why is it that Draisaitl has to attempt to lift up Skinner and Arvidsson? Why not have Skinner play with Connor? It's not like Nugent Hopkins is doing great.
Good point.
That's a fair question.
Yeah, it is. They tried Skinner. for one game. I think this was in like November or December.
This is the Ryan Strome thing all over again.
Yeah, they put him up there for a game, and we talked to Jeff Skinner, and it's like, hey, you're playing with McDavid tonight. What do you got to do? Does this suit your style better? And he said all the right things, and that one, I think, lasted a period. It was over. And you're at the point now where, yeah, like, don't get me wrong. I think the one thing Nugent Hopkins did the other night that I was like, oh, there he is. He had that one, like, chance in tight. I think it was at the tail end of a power play where he got the one shot off in close, saved by Luukkonen.
And he kind of went past it a bit.
And then he fell down because he got tripped up. That was really the only time I was like, there's the Nuge. There he is doing something. Good stuff. You're at the point now where it's like, maybe you should try throwing stuff at the wall and see what sticks. And Skinner being with McDavid might be one of those things. Why not?
If you want to chime in, 780-218-9999, 780-218-9999. I asked this question on the Nielsen show this morning. Let's take a look at these almost 1,400 votes. Who's most to blame for the Oilers' recent funk? Players, coaches, or management? You want to guess how many people are blaming the players?
That would be my vote.
Yeah,
I'll start there.
And it is the majority.
Okay.
What do you think what percentage is
out of those three options? I would say 42%.
65.
Oh,
no,
okay,
64.
good.
64%. 64% of people are blaming the players for the recent slide. 16% are hanging on coaches, and 20% are blaming it on management in the offseason, obviously, that unable to, they got slower and older. Smaller.
Did. Yeah, they did.
So, I mean, it's a fair 20% there. I mean, there's a little bit of conversation for everybody there. But Brody over in the chat says, or in the reply on my tweet, even the players know it's on them. Games are won and lost on the ice. Anyone who says other than the players are 40-year-old dudes who never played anything more than a pickup game and an ODR. So, but I think that's
good response.
That's a good response, but it's a little bit unfair. Like if they just don't have the horses on the ice, then it's a management thing. But the problem is that for 2 months it looked like they did, right? And now they look like they don't.
They're still good players.
Yeah.
Like they should be better NHL players. They're just, I don't know. It's like it's an attitude thing. They're just like, where has Nugent Hopkins' game gone? Where has Zach Hyman's game gone? Like I know he's got 22 goals now, but there are some nights where you're like, geez, like Hyman's usually more noticeable in a positive way. He's had a lot of quiet nights this year. Where obviously has Henrique's game gone? Jeff Skinner's game is non-existent because sometimes he's not even playing. Sometimes when he does play, they play him on the third and fourth line. Some of it you can't really blame him. Victor Arvidsson, very disappointing season. I mean, we were trying to praise Vasily Podkolzin as a top 6 winger for a long time. Matthias Janmark has been put into the top 6 a couple of times, and the guy hasn't even shot a puck past the goalie this year.
Not yet.
Not yet. Good idea to put him out in the last 4 minutes of a game when you're chasing it. That still blows my mind.
Gene Principe just tweeting out a few moments ago, quote from Knobloch. The plan was that Ekholm was going to join the team in New York, but now it looks like he will stay in Edmonton for the trip. And I saw somebody texting in a little bit earlier on about, Tommy, have you heard anything on Ekholm? Is the team just trying to, be extra cautious with him right now?
Yeah, my assumption was he was worn out. Maybe he does have something lingering, but I actually just sent somebody a text to find out what's going on. If I get a response before the end of the show, I'll pass it along.
Okay.
I just
we
think
might get a response by the end of the show.
Watching him, listening to him, talking to him in the locker room, you're just like, that dude's tired.
Looks like he's rolling a walking pneumonia.
Yeah.
But that's a thing. I never knew it was a thing. Did you know about cashews?
What about them?
Do you know where they come from?
The ground?
No.
Where? A tree?
They come from something called a cashew apple. And it's like a very acidic fruit, and the stem has a cashew in it. And that's where they get cashews from.
They are amazing. No wonder they're so expensive.
I know. That's what we've all been saying all day.
Yeah.
But you didn't know this either.
Nope.
Me neither. See, people thought I was crazy today for not knowing this on the show
Did not
this morning.
Where do macadamia nuts come from?
macadamians, I guess.
guess.
But I don't know. I don't know what those are either.
They're so good.
All right, 780-218-9999. 780-218-9999. RCN is saying, I imagine Wallman ad was made because they knew Ekholm was going to be out for a little while. It does ease things. I mean, with Wallman around now, and I know Wallman's not Ekholm, different types of defensemen.
Yeah.
But
They
it
needed
helps
it.
a little bit that you,
Sure.
I mean,
They needed a defenseman regardless.
you didn't get him. You're rolling Dermott, bringing Dermott up and playing him on the left side. Like, can't be doing something silly like that.
Yeah. Josh Brown's another option. We saw Cam Dineenan was giving him high praise.
Cam Dineen was rolling around there.
He
Who was
did.
giving who high praise?
Just people in general.
Oh, I thought you said Cam Dineen was giving Josh Brown high praise. I was like,
Oh,
what?
no. We were giving, some people were giving Cam Dineen high praise for his game that he played. What was that? The Montreal game? Yeah.
Yeah, he was great. I liked him in that game.
Oh, he filled in nicely.
Yeah. 780-218-9999. 780-218-9999. I don't know what Zach's up to, but he's doing something
Yeah,
here.
what are you doing?
What are you doing, Zach?
Boys, F1 is F1 fantasy is starting.
Are you for real right now?
Who's gonna be first? Who's gonna win? All out.
He's asking an F1 question.
Oh.
Are you talking in our league or in Formula One?
Like in the middle of the show.
I told him he could come in and do it. I thought it'd be funny.
All right. I will go with Lewis. Makes an impact in his first race as a member of Ferrari.
Are you talking about our league or are we picking a winner this week?
Our league.
Oh,
in our
league. Oh, me. I'm going to win it all. I'm going to win start of the season with my team, the Monarch of Monaco.
Oh, that was you.
That's my
a good
team
one. I like
name,
that,
yeah.
You have to have
And-
2 teams, though. Did you pick a second
I
team?
have to have 2
Yeah,
teams?
everybody has 2 teams.
Oh, okay.
It's
I'll
like
have
a
to put
constructor's thing.
I'll put together my second
Do
team.
your second team.
I'm going to win this reluctantly. And Joaquin, I just want it on the record, forced me to do this F1 Fantasy League.
Tommy's not going to win. Gager's going to win. The rest of us are probably going to lose interest in it along the way.
That's a good point.
And I'll say Lieutenant Eric finishes last. there we go. All right, go do your TikTok, Zach.
Yeah, go. Are you going to do a Jackson Mahomes dance?
You should. You know what? If you want to push the TikTok for USC, you should just start doing dances.
Yeah.
Yeah. There are 2 things
Okay.
that pop up on my TikTok feed. You can choose either one. You can start doing dances, or you can start going out into the wilderness and hunting down animals and killing them with your teeth. It's up to you.
One or the other.
Yeah, it's up to you. Ladies and
Very
gentlemen,
tempting.
Zacticum. AB Poker Inc. says, you guys think Knobloch is the guy with the scratching of Skinner nonstop and the mixing of all the lines nonstop? I'm not sure this guy's the right fit. What say you? But like all the coaches have mixed up lines. Like all the time.
Okay. Is that in the nasty chat?
No, it's an inbox from AB Poker Inc.
AB. Okay. Let me read that. Nobby's the guy with the scratch.
He's just wondering if he's a guy because but was it when Woody took over that Derek Ryan had the comments when he was like, it's nice that guys have defined roles.
Yeah.
That was when Woodcroft took over.
Yeah, but Knobloch has completely gone away from that. That lasted for like 3 weeks, right?
Yeah, but it's like when Knobloch first comes in, you're like, oh, it looks like he's going to keep lines
Steady
together.
lines,
and then
yeah.
it's just yada, yada, yada. They get in trouble. They go nuclear. It doesn't
Yeah.
work as well as it used to.
Yeah.
And everybody else just sits around and watches. That's why I get so worried that they're not going to do anything. Like, they're going to do what they did pre-cup run in the playoffs again, where it's like the Oilers just don't have enough juice. And there's guys who are playing 29 minutes a night and no other forward is over 15. Like, I'm worried that's where they're headed in the
could
playoffs
be.
again.
Could very well be.
That
And-
is
and
not
they
a recipe for
specifically-
success.
they
You
brought-
don't win a Stanley Cup with 2 bloody guys.
They brought guys in to address that. Clearly hasn't worked out. It's frustrating. But it is frustrating because it's never easy. This team can never have nice things for some reason. However, they're still right there in the mix. And for 2.5 months, we're one of the best teams in the league. They just can't cruise in a season. You know what I mean?
I know.
Why can't they have
They
like
looked like they were going to.
the Golden Knights are like automatic to be top 2 in the division every year, except for the 1 year where they missed the playoffs before winning the Stanley Cup. And they just cruise. They just know. They dial it in. And they've had a ton of turnover. They've gassed coaches more than the Oilers in the last 6-7 years. But they have this mindset. I don't know if it comes from the very top, but it's like how many guys are actually left over from even the Cup run? Even for like they brought Riley Smith back. You can maintain a certain attitude, and I think that's a good example. in Vegas, and they seem to cruise to top spot in the division, right up there, and then they're going to be an absolute thorn in the playoffs. They just have that attitude. Doesn't exist here.
You can text us here on the Oil Stream. We got EST Afternoons coming up, which is a great Oilers show as well. If you like this one, you'll absolutely love EST Afternoons. And then, of course, the Reed Wilkins show. A couple of studs there every day from 3 until 6 right here on Edmonton Sports Talk. If you're listening on TuneIn or iHeart or at EdmontonSportsTalk.com, please join in on the fun. Text the link to EST to your buddies. Statue Boss Productions over the chat says, guys, I know he hasn't played yet, but did you get any indication that they'll re-sign Frederick? If not, would that trade have been worth it?
I asked about that, and what I was told was his price and ask might be a little high in the offseason. But you never know.
But let's stop for a second.
That's a hypothetical.
No, I understand. But I am saying that this is a management group that was apparently going to give Rantanen $13 million, but they might be able to afford Trent Frederick. What are we doing here?
Well, it's different. You're talking about a superstar that you have a team already with
I'm
a
talking
couple
about
of
a bottom six that's absolute steaming pile of shit, and you're not going to be able to afford Trent Frederick, who can bring some grit and has scored more goals than all these guys are going to score combined this year in a couple of seasons. But you're going to spend $13 million on Mikko Rantanen. I get they're different players.
Yeah.
This is why I said you take the $13 million you were going to waste on Mikko Rantanen and sign Frederick and sign another bottom six forward and sign a top six wing for Draisaitl, sign a bloody goalie. It blows my mind.
Maybe they don't mind. It's not that they can't afford. It's just that they wouldn't like the ask and how much. It depends what that is. Now, if it's reasonable and they like him and he's a good fit, he likes it here, then they'll make a pitch, obviously. They like the player.
Don't give Trent Frederick 2.75, but give Kapanen $1 million. That's really worth your money.
No, I would not bring Kapanen.
If that dude wasn't around, you could have acquired somebody else at the deadline. True. Klingberg's 1.7. Waste of time now. Their management of the cap just sucks, the big one.
Yeah.
And if they were going to be all hot and horny and taking a swing at Rantanen for $13 million, and Frederick comes in here and shows more grit in 2 games than most of the bottom six has all season, you're going to sit here and go, you don't want to give him that extra $225. What are we doing here?
Now, I think there would be an appetite if he, like I said, a good fit, all that stuff. And it was pointed out by others, out of market, that he's a St. Louis guy. He might want to go home. He's tight with bunch of people there. Sure, maybe he could. He's got the right to. But he could play here. Like Henrique. Henrique last year when he got traded here was kind of reluctant. Gets here, has success, likes it here, signs a deal.
Yeah.
That could be the same thing.
It could be the same thing. Yeah. Or because they traded for a guy who's hurt, they get him for a week of the regular season, they get him for the first round, they lose him, and they gave up a second round pick.
Yeah.
That's horrible asset management.
It just if he comes in asking for $6 million a year, it's well, are you really a $6 million?
He's not asking for $6 million a year.
It's a hypothetical. This is me just throwing it. Then you're okay, we have to take a look at things. That's a little bit steep for a guy. Yeah,
but I think you're talking double of what he would get.
Yeah,
what
were they saying? Contract negotiations with the Bruins weren't going well. I was reading in the Athletic a few weeks ago. And that's what's that led him to being available. Yeah. They couldn't, and they also said that was affecting his season and this and that. Seems like a lot was going wrong in Boston, obviously, and he wasn't just the only one that was a victim of that. But if he wanted something ridiculous, then that kind of, you're he had 18 and 17 prior to this year, goal scored, and they would have to evaluate. They like the player, clearly. And he's the right type of player. Now we just got to see how he fits in. And now his runway's getting shorter because he's injured, but they knew that going in. I think that they probably would want to keep him.
If he comes as advertised.
Yeah.
And that's let's see how it looks. Sorry to get so fired up. But if he comes as advertised, you can't nickel and dime a guy that's a unicorn in your bottom six. You can't do it. You can't bring back the same easy to play against group again next year unless you didn't learn your bloody lesson. I mean, You just can't.
Of course.
You can't have.
They're
that,
aware
right?
of that. They are aware of that. But like, if he's asking for an astronomical sum, and you're like, well, come on, man. And again, and then they might be able to offer him what he wants too. That we have to factor this in.
Yeah.
Again, hypothetical after the season, whatever. They might say, you know what, Trent Frederick, we really value your game. We think you're a great fit. Guys love you. We'll give you what you want. We'll make it worth your while to stay here. And he could say, thank you. I'm going home to play, or I like this other team.
You say he's from St. Louis?
Yeah.
He'll fit in well. I'm glad the Oilers gave the Bruins a second pick so Trent Frederick could be a Blue. That's worked out really well for this organization lately. In fact, it would be funny because they gave Boston a St. Louis pick.
Yeah, they
did they not?
They did.
And he comes here for 3 weeks and then goes and signs with the Blues anyway.
That could happen.
Like, well,
Not saying it will. Also, I got an update on Ekholm.
Okay, what is the latest on Ekholm?
Yeah, he's game by game.
Just game day, so just day to day. But he's not going to go on the road trip.
Sounds like it's a lower body issue.
Lower body issue.
Yeah.
So he's not just sick.
Yeah.
So he's dealing with a lower body issue.
Yeah.
Well, that sucks.
Mm-hmm.
All right, 780-218-9999, 780-218-9999. Andrew, the accountant, says, guys, I never thought I'd miss Ken Holland. But if the Oilers get bounced early in the playoffs, is there a chance that management gets fired after one? No chance.
No.
No chance. I mean, the bet has been made. Bowman hasn't even been here for 12 months.
And they give these guys these contracts. They're multi-year. Like, I was listening on my way into the morning show, and there was some Knobloch talk that came up. And we joked about he's just past Jay Woodcroft in games coach for the Oilers. And he's approaching Dave Tippett territory.
Yeah, I thought today it was pointed out they're both at 133 right now.
Yeah.
Knobloch and Woody. He's lasted just as long as Knobloch if he makes it through the next game.
Yep. Yes, which is sad. And I think Tip is at 177 or something like that. They've been turning and burning coaches like crazy. And you want to talk about asset management, watching how much you're paying for people. When you hire a coach, give them like a 3-year deal, 5-year deal, whatever it happens to be, you can fire them. But guess what? You're still paying them. You're just paying them not to coach your team. Like Todd McClellan was owed like 2 years worth of salary after he got gassed. So yeah, they were paying Woodcroft last year. In fact, I think they're still paying for Jay this year because he was in the second of a 3-year deal.
They have no shortage of money. I mean, their owner's pretty well off.
He certainly is.
Yeah.
But that doesn't mean the team, as a company and organization, doesn't have its own budget, which it does. But he does have the funds to make it happen.
If Daryl needed to pump in a few more bucks to the budget, would he not?
Yes, absolutely.
I think he would kind of be able to do it.
But like, you hire these guys, you bring in Stan Bowman, give him, what did he get, a 3-year deal? You got Jeff Jackson, who's not cheap. You just signed Chris Knobloch. You redid Paul Coffey's deal in the offseason. And then you're going to be like, you guys had a okay season. You finished second in the Pacific again. Maybe they go on a run. Maybe they don't. And you go, you know what? We're gassing all of you. And you're paying for 2 coaching staffs at the same time, 2 management teams at the same time. That pisses owners off. It really does. And they are getting results. Now, I know they haven't won the big one yet, but that has to be factored in. It's like you could have $10 million in guys you're paying not to be a part of your organization. That's wasted money.
It's weird for me how much it would piss an owner off if they're the one putting the pressure on the organization to make these changes all the time.
Well,
I'm just saying, I'm not accusing anybody of that, but I'm saying, how can you be mad as an owner if you're like, this hasn't worked in 133 games, get somebody else?
You could be like, yep, but you got to pay.
Then you
got
to pay, and you can't whine about it. Right?
This owner knows full well. He is demanding. He wants to see this team win. He almost got there.
780-218-9999, 780-218-9999. That is where you can chime in. Penner's Pancakes over in the Nasty Chat says, I still like when Woody called out Tommy in that one scrum asking him about his perm.
Thank you. Yes. Nobody had ever seen me like that, including Jay.
It stood out quite a bit because it was blonde too, right?
It was. It smelled like nachos.
Ed, you were a good sport. But your perm smelled like nachos?
It did.
Why did your perm smell like nachos?
Because the chemical in your hair.
Oh, you're not joking. Like it legitimately smelled like nachos.
For like 3-4 months, yeah. And I would like wash it in the morning, and I'm like, oh, it just smells like zesty Doritos, which I love, and it almost ruined zesty Doritos for me.
How long did the process
zesty
take?
Doritos are the best Doritos.
Fantastic.
for
like
sure.
the perm process.
Yeah, like when you sat there, they had to get the curls in and stuff like that.
They
right?
did the frosted tips first, I believe, and then they had to give me a few weeks because
It would be tough to frost the tips if it's already permed in. So yeah,
and you can like literally like kill the hair.
Yeah.
With all the chemicals, from
no.
what I recollect.
Oh no.
So they had to get spread it out by a couple weeks, and then
Came back strong though.
thank God.
Yeah.
champ.
You look way better now than you did with the perm.
Thank you.
Yeah.
$12,500 to the MS Society. I always remember that.
Good work, buddy.
Yeah, thank you.
You're right. That's what got you through it.
Never again, though.
Yeah. James says, guys, I'm starting to doubt the Oilers even finished second. The Kings are 1 point back with a game in hand. Do they? I thought they used their game in hand last night, but am I wrong on that?
I'm looking at the
Oh
stats.
no, yeah, you're right. 1 game in hand still, and a point back, and awesome at home. Best team in the league at home, the Los Angeles Kings. And somebody this morning on our show, D-Rock, was really in one, and he's like, "I think I've lost all my faith in this team." So I had the question I was going to ask, Tommy. Where's your faith status at right now on this team as a Stanley Cup contender?
I still give them the benefit of the doubt.
Is it as strong as it was at the beginning of the year for you?
Nope.
It had to have wavered, right? Like,
Yeah, I mean, this team, it for a while showed that it can and is capable. It's just the slide through February. It's like, really, like you didn't show much gumption in the entire month, and then even these last couple of losses, that 5-game losing streak was hideous. Philadelphia stands out to me. Then you get your ass kicked again by one of the strongest teams in the league in Washington. You beat Carolina to save some face, so you're like, okay, let's build on that. Then you come home and you lose to Anaheim, and not only do you just lose to Anaheim, you get your asses kicked by a bad Ducks team.
that was not good.
That was brutal. Okay, you bounce back against Montreal. You beat them in overtime. You snap their winning streak. You get a good team in Dallas the next game. You snap their winning streak. So you're like, okay, here they go again. They're going to be all right. You go into Buffalo, the worst team in the East. I know historically the Oilers have had struggles in Buffalo, but you just kind of waltz in thinking that you're going to outskill them, and just because you showed up and you're the Oilers and you won 2 in a row, you're going to beat them. No, you lose. You play a bad game. You make dumb mistakes at the wrong times. So that's where the doubt creeps in. And maybe I'm more faithful watching this team thinking they're still a contender than some, like D-Rock, obviously, who's like, I'm losing it with this. At the end of the day, they're second in the Pacific Division. They're 3-7 in their last 10. That's not acceptable. But for whatever reason, this group of guys on this team, when it gets dicey, wake up. Guess what? Yes, LA is 1 point back with a game in hand and has won 3 in a row. It's going to get dicey.
She's dicey. She's
so
dicey
that might
now,
wake
yeah.
these guys up. And you're like, why does it take suffering and pain and hardship for them to wake up? Why can't you have that FU attitude like the Florida Panthers and just smack other teams around? Go in, take the game, make it so you dominate the first period, make sure you take care of business in the second, and usually by the third period, you can cruise into the win. They don't do that, this group. But I still think they can be a Stanley Cup contender.
I think my level of faith in what they can accomplish in the spring probably teeters out at getting back to the conference final. Like I would even with the way they've played recently, I still think they can get through Los Angeles and Vegas.
Yeah,
I do. I mean, if it's Dallas, another crack at Dallas this year, or I mean, Winnipeg, interesting. See what happens there. If Hellebuck can not fold in the playoffs, that could be tough. But I think that's kind of where I'm at right now with this team. So I don't know. I no longer have like the Stanley Cup expectation for this club, but I still have make the conference final, like play 3 rounds. I still think they're capable of accomplishing that, which some people might think I'm crazy for even saying that.
I know the detractors are saying this team's done, one and done. I see a lot of that on the post-game show, but in the playoffs, and I know, and I'm all in on this mentality. You can't just flip the switch and turn it on. But playoffs start, and the game changes, and some guys like, what if Nugent Hopkins hits his stride and starts playing like an actual impact player again? What if Hyman becomes the Hyman we saw last year and is just clutch? McDavid hasn't been the same all season long compared to last year. What we know he's
Maybe
a
there's
playoff.
something there, yeah.
He's a beast in the playoffs. Him and Leon turn into just absolute machines. I have no reason to think he can't do
But
that.
they might need all that just to get to the conference final.
They might.
Right? Like just to get there, not let alone win it. Like,
And then luck factors in, and then what the other teams do. And we see lesser teams go on Cinderella runs. That's the beauty of the playoffs. And you want to make a Ken Holland. You want to go back to Ken Holland a little bit, like someone texted in earlier. Kenny Holland would always say, just get to the dance.
get a ticket to the dance.
The way they're getting there is ugly. They can clean it up in the next 18 games, but just get there and see what happens, right?
Big Hugh says the negativity in the chats is just ridiculous. 15 teams make the playoffs and don't win. Ride the highs, enjoy it. It's gonna be bad. It's gonna be bad again one day.
It will be.
Geez, that makes me sad.
It will be.
I know.
It's just the ebbs and flow. The other thing, too, is there is something to be said for going to the Cup final and losing the way they did. You know how to get back. It's daunting. It's a pain in the ass to go through a full season, but
You have to be pretty special to get back, and the Florida Panthers were.
Yeah.
You know,
but you got that dangling carrot there, and you go, oh, yeah, playoffs. Oh, yeah, we could win. We got embarrassed not embarrassed, but we had the ultimate pain.
The one game to take it all.
Yeah, we don't want that.
Scored a goal, yeah.
It's crazy how it's like a smelling salt, I guess.
Michael Gable says the Oilers only have 27 regulation wins. The only team in the Western Conference that's a playoff spot with less is Calgary. Hopefully they click when it matters.
Yeah.
And Goat Farmer over in the chat. I'm not sure we've ever had a comment from Goat Farmer, but I love it. And Farmer is PH. Do you think that's a pharmacist who
Could be.
owns a goat?
Yeah, maybe. Or likes goat cheese.
Maybe.
Goat products.
Being on the right side of the puck with discipline comes playoffs, and we're gonna go to the dance again.
I like that, being on the right side of the puck. Playing the right way. Haji with a great one. Kenny also said, it's hard. It's hard.
It's hard. It's hard.
It's hard.
That's a party machine.
Great song.
That's what that is.
That's a great
party machine. All right. What's coming up on EST afternoons here, Zach? To come, you got the sheet over there. What the boys talking about?
Yeah, of course they're going to be talking about the Oilers shifting the lines in practice. Jeff Skinner
I love that.
bumped up to the second line in practice there out in New Jersey. And Daniel Nugent-Bowman from The Athletic will be joining the fellas as
he's
well.
been tweeting out lines, going right to the source. I like it.
Exactly, right? And Hernan's World to boot.
Oh, Hernan's
Awesome.
World. Okay, there you go. So DNB joining the guys on EST afternoon. Shout out Surveyor Brett for sending in that picture of Tommy with his perm,
Oh, it's so
which was
bad.
terrific.
Yeah, that was
And
so bad.
yeah.
Also, on this day, I hope you guys got to it in the morning.
I don't think I did.
EST reached 1 million
Oh yeah, we
views on
did hit
YouTube.
that today. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was cool. And now we're at 3.4 million.
Nice.
So 2.4 million views in the last year. So,
That's awesome.
Yeah.
And counting.
Yeah, no, keep them coming. And sub to the channel if you haven't already. And if you are listening to the Oil Stream podcast later on, sub to all of our podcasts when they come out after they go live on TuneIn and iHeart and on YouTube. Turn on autoplay. That'll keep you right here. EST Afternoons with Hernan and Gager. Get that gross
That
term
is
out of my
so
face.
bad.
That is straight up out of NSYNC. Like you, and not even one of the good guys in NSYNC. You're like one of the bad guys in NSYNC with that perm.
That's awful.
All right, EST Afternoons at 1 o'clock. Do not go anywhere. I'll talk to you tomorrow morning, 6 o'clock. Setting up an Oilers game. Dun, 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 dun. For Tommy Gazzola, I'm Dustin Nielson. Have a great afternoon. Take it easy.